I have an idea. Let's record a shitty intro. Just strum it.
Okay.
This is the Zach and Aakash show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this beautiful Thursday morning where it is raining in the
Yeah.
state of. We're coming at you live from Connecticut. This is the Zach and Aakash show. I'm Zach.
Good morning, and I'm Aakash. Today we're bringing at you a show about creating your own experience during this pandemic, and any time, honestly. What to do if your resume is lacking a bit.
Yeah. College career. So you might have no experience, as most people do not have experience. So we're going to help you create some experience to possibly turn that into other internships today.
Mm-hmm. It is very, very dark outside.
Mm-hmm.
Glad I have this set up this TV here, so good. The light of it at least reflects. All right. Anyway, before we get started, daily coffee. We got a small boy today. It's very tiny, and also very circular, as opposed to the usually elliptical coffee bean.
Scientific today. Right on, right on. Yeah. Yeah, so this is our Thursday
People
show.
flooded into stream.
I know. This is our Thursday show based on, well, I'm sweating. I'm not lifting my arms for the rest of the show. This show is the business and career development, a segment of the entire week. So we're going to talk about that. So Akash, what experience have you done?
Hold up.
My camera is like lagging.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, we gotta figure that out. Experience I've done outside of. I'm just gonna talk about experience outside of internships or anything, because those don't count for today. Today's all about creating your own experience. And I started off with pretty much. So I'm a computer scientist, so it's all going to be about coding, and luckily you could do that on your computer at home. So I started off just doing random coding projects, like building games that I enjoyed. Moved on to this Alexa project I did, where I automated all the lights in my room, which was like more of a home improvement DIY project too. And then moving on from that, I did various startups, one with Zach, one without Zach, and no, two without Zach. And then, yeah, just random projects here and there, man. And honestly, out of those, the random projects help you build technical experience, but the startups help you also build more soft skills too, which are transferable to any any industry you want to go into. Zach seems very frozen.
Yeah. It's time to upgrade to a new camera. I apologize. But yeah. I mean, I was in the same boat. I had no experience. My first experience, I guess, that I was able to put on my resume was a hackathon, but I didn't think that was that strong for later internships. Oop, don't look at that. So what I did was with Akash, we both wanted to start a startup, so we took it seriously. So we ended up doing that, and then that became like a huge piece of my own experience, which helped with soft skills, as Akash said, the hard skills, and it really helped shape my mind to think about problems and stuff like that.
Yep, and don't get us wrong here either. All of our startups were failures, so you don't have to be successful for it to count. You just got to go do something.
I'm back.
Are there any bad?
Sorry. Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm gonna buy a webcam today. I'm done. I'm gonna return this app.
Can you?
Yeah, I think I have a few days. So
Okay.
yeah. So I apologize for my camera, everybody, today. Technical difficulties as always. So let's like discuss. So the hardest part of doing this is always getting started. You and I are now in a position where building experience is like not as unheard of as it was probably a couple years back. I know I really struggled really dipping my feet into it. So why don't we dive into that?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, getting started is hard because it's scary. Because you literally don't know what you're doing. That's a hard part. I think. Um, I guess it's different based on the major you're in. Because for something like computer science, again, we have laptops at home and a shit ton of YouTube videos to help us, so
Yeah.
we can just make a bunch of products from home. But I guess this is more about what you can do. I want to keep it more generalized for no matter what major you are. Some majors you can always be learning on your computer. There's like Skillshare, Udemy, all these online course platforms that you can learn from. Um, Learning is something that I think that's a good start. Just finding out something you want to learn about your subject, something that interests you, because you don't, learning's all about starting with no knowledge, so you don't have that initial scary barrier. The hard part about learning something is you don't know what you're interested in, so I'd say start broad in your subject, look at all the specific things you can learn, and then try to find parts of it that interest you the most, and maybe find a free course on YouTube or something, or if you can't find that, maybe find a cheap one on Udemy or something like that and learn. For like mechanical engineering, something you could do from home could be CADing, right? You could always 3D model things. For, I guess, material science, you can run simulations. Again, I'm just talking about a bunch of engineering majors, I guess. For business, um, I don't know. What do business majors do? There's a lot. If you're like econ, you could probably do some market analysis at home. For business, I guess you can study different companies, um,
Or you could
different case studies.
start your own company
Or
like this.
right, right. No, I'm saying to start off with to learn.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the next part. So to get started on that, I guess.
So I actually remembered before you even start trying to build your experience, you got to have some sort of target in mind. Um, I don't want to say use this experience to do this, but like how do you want to orient your experience? So what is it you want to do? And for a lot of you, you might be confused on what it is you want to do. I'd say just guess. Literally pick one and guess, or pick a couple and guess. There's plenty of time in life to try everything, but that's pretty much what I did. I was like, all right, guess, startup, um, and then followed through with that. So
Hmm.
then, like, your experience might make a little more sense as to what you're studying. So I was studying like startups, reading startup books, joining startup classes, surrounding myself with people who are in that type of space, and that made it a lot easier to have those
And
experiences compile.
really immerse yourself in the environment before you decide whether it's for you or not. Because sometimes when you think something's for you, you start, it gets a little hard. It's easy to give up, but that's just the initial difficulty that's causing you to give up. Really stick with it for like a month or something and immerse yourself in it before you realize it's not for you.
Hmm.
I think that's like the minimum amount of time you need really to get into it, because you don't know, you might really end up liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's important. So as you start looking for these like little experience things, like whether it's Udemy or doing projects at home, you're gonna want a support group, which is people to surround yourself with that are gonna be helpful and supportive. So for me, I went ahead and I looked for. Oh, okay, I'll continue. But I went ahead and I looked for people who were in the startup space at UConn, and I was gonna, spend most of my time and tell them about projects I was doing there because, you know, we're all gonna help each other out because we all have like the same goal, right?
Oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
yeah, build a group, build a support group. It's honestly, it's gonna, they say this one thing Zach and I really live by, which is they say you are like the average of the five people you surround yourself with, which is very true. Build a group of other motivated people to help you out. You don't have to be in the same major or anything. To be honest, we've met a lot of different majors, and that's been a lot more helpful actually. Get you new perspectives too. Um, so yeah, just build a group of people who are motivated to building their own experience. Because also you can set up weekly meetings. That's something Zach and I did with a couple of our friends to keep ourselves accountable, to see what projects we've been working on, what else we could work on,
A
and it
mastermind.
a mastermind,
Oh
yeah.
God, throwback.
Keeps you motivated for sure.
Yep. Um, and you sound less crazy when you're with. So if you take 30 so-called crazy people and you put them all in a room, no one's crazy anymore. Everyone's
Mm,
it's like the new normal. It's definitely
yeah,
it's helped me move from A to B, and so I am where I wanted to be when I started as a freshman. Um, Part of it is because of the support groups that I had.
and yeah, because if you're not if you don't design your friend group, if you just kind of take it as it comes, it's probably going to be great to have fun and just shoot the shit or something. But then when you're trying to actually go around and get shit done, it's not that your friends might necessarily be bad people and like drag you down or something, but it's just going to be hard for them to keep up. And they're always going to be inviting you to parties and things like that, which is great. Go once in a while, but at a certain point, it gets hard to say no to when you really want to be working on something else. But there's also a party you could go to. It gets hard to say no.
Yeah,
Um, so you need two, I guess, two sets of groups. That's what helped me out. I got a set of friends who I generally go around and party with, and then a set of friends who's like my support group for my career. And there's some intersection in the middle there. That's fine, but be very specific about it.
good, good.
That's okay too. By the way, a lot of people think
To like
you gotta include all your friends and everything,
to like
which
pick
that
people.
just becomes a hassle because not everyone's interested in everything.
Hmm. Like I've said before, it's a difficult conversation to have with yourself, but you need to look after you first before anyone else. I know we're taught in school, don't be selfish and all this stuff, but it's your life, so you need to be a little selfish, especially right now. Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good for like friend groups. I think people get the point on that. Um, I've heard this a lot of times, and I'm pretty sure there's probably some people listening to this who are asking the question. It's like, what if you don't have time? I've heard this a lot.
Okay, if you're a college student, just doing a major, maybe a minor too, and maybe you're in a couple of clubs or something, uh, average college student, that's bullshit. You have a lot of time. You're just not prioritizing properly. You could, it's honestly all about prioritization. What do you care about more? If you really want that star career, then you're gonna have to prioritize building your experience. If you don't have an internship, especially, we're talking about this based on the summer, something you could do in the summer or over your winter break or during this quarantine period. You're especially not busy at all, especially if you don't have another internship during this time. So I honestly think that's a bullshit excuse.
Yeah. Um, Even if you are at school, it's like, yeah, we're like, I'm in engineering. When I first started, I was doing 18 credits, and like, I'm not trying to say, oh, look at me, but I made it work. It was hard, but it was all worth it in the end. And I still had like a social life. It wasn't like I was alone just grinding work. But I prioritized. I would get up early. I would do all the work I needed to do, and really just organizing things. And then like prioritizing the stuff first. So if you do the things you need to do first, like really important things, you have time for like the smaller items. And like, you gotta learn to cut down on things that are gonna waste time. So, watching Netflix for 3 hours a day, that could have been spent building experience. You can still watch Netflix, but maybe just cut back just a little bit. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I started working on my first startup when I was taking 19 credits at the time, and they were all TOEFL CS classes. And in the beginning, I was really scared because I didn't know if I could handle it or not. But what you realize is once you put yourself into that situation, you're smart. Your mind finds a way to handle it. And honestly, that semester was the most productive I've ever been in my whole life. Like everything was on a pinpoint schedule. I'd get up, get some work done. Um, all right. One thing, this I don't necessarily recommend this for everyone. How I found a way to create time for myself is I thought that most of my classes were bullshit. So I just didn't show up to them. I learned everything completely from the books and passed the class that way. That helped me personally over my college career. It saved me a lot of time. Um, this might not be the same for you. I just don't learn well in lectures. They put me to sleep. So I found myself other ways of learning that were better. I guess that's where some self-awareness comes in, finds out what works for you. But I guess my point is you'll find ways to, if you really want this, you're going to find ways to cut time here and there. Um, Again, Netflix, you don't have to cut it out completely. Instead of watching 2 hours, maybe watch 1 hour or half an hour. And again, whatever experience you're trying to build, you don't have to put in like 3, 4 hours a day. Start off with just putting in half an hour a day, maybe an hour a day, or maybe just a couple hours on the weekends. Because I know for a fact, no matter how busy people can get, some weekends, there not a lot of weekends at UConn, they go by pretty dry. I've seen a lot of people. They're just sitting there doing nothing all day long.
It's fun sometimes.
You huh?
It's fun sometimes to just sit and do nothing all day.
For sure. But that's like every weekend. It's
Yeah.
just Friday night, you go out, Saturday, you wake up at like 12, eat some shitty food, and then sit there doing nothing all day.
Yeah, I'd say, if you want cool things to happen to you, yeah, you can wait and sometimes it'll fall into your lap. But if you just put a little bit of effort, you'll have some cool stuff, you know. Like I put a little bit of effort. Like all it took me was like a couple emails and then, cool stuff started happening. We
Oh,
have
Amanda's here. She's asking, how would you recommend inspiring someone who generally isn't motivated about school? For someone who isn't as work oriented, generally lazy, live live in the present too much, and don't think about their futures? It's a really good question.
mhm.
Wow, I've thought about this a lot, um, and it's hard. I've tried it too. I've tried, and with some people, and it's hard to get them motivated. Sometimes just from being around you, they can latch on a little bit, but they always end up falling off. How's your experience been with the Zach?
Yeah, they need to be willing to change. So it's difficult. It's something that comes with time. She's talking about her. She says she has a brother in high school who loves gaming slash not being able to do anything proactive and hates being bossed around. How would you approach this?
Okay.
Well, I got my own experience with gaming. I was your brother at one point for a little bit.
Yeah, same.
So
Like exact same scenario. I was literally only cared about gaming in high school. But weirdly, it wasn't any external factor that motivated me to do any of this. Around senior year, I always talk about my trip to India, but that combined with I guess my robotics team, which I kind of got dragged into, it I ended up getting lucky for finding motivation, to be honest. And then ever since I found like that flip switch in my head, I've been motivated, and I've been on fire. But anything I personally that I wanted to work on, like whether it's fitness or career or a new skill or anything, it's never really come from an external source. It's always come from because some random event happened to me. So, what about you, Zach? What's your answer for this?
Yeah. So one thing I've come to realize towards the end of high school into now is that it's very, very difficult to change people. If they don't want to change, like I've dealt with people who like they want to, work on their resume to get an internship. So they come talk to me, and of course I will help them because I've always had help on my resumes. So I'll help them. And they're like, I just want to get it done. Just want to submit it. I'm like, no, you need to have a little bit of effort and put it into your resume because this is like this is what's gonna work like for the first stage. And if they don't want to do that, then it's like I don't know why I'm helping you because you it's very difficult to change. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like your brother at one point. Um, not crazy as much. Like I had my thoughts about the future, but I wasn't. There was a point in time where I wasn't really doing much. Um, all it takes is one leap to like cascade. I took the leap my sophomore year. Um, then that was the leap that's why I'm here now. Because I took that leap. Um, I really don't have an answer on how you can change someone else, but
Yeah,
he this is more of an issue for him. So first you could address like why are you just playing video games all day? How come you don't know where you want to go? Um, that's the first question. Maybe it's a conversation that he just needs help with.
what year is he in high school, by the way? Is he like a junior, senior, or like freshman, sophomore?
Here, let's type.
Oh yeah, that might be
This
more.
is a delay. I'm running out of coffee.
Ooh, it's a bad sign.
You know. While we wait for this, I used to drink a pot of coffee a day. Fun fact. And now I'm down to
Jesus,
one.
dude.
So I
Nice.
did my coffee rehab, and we're good to go now. Incoming senior in high school. Okay. So
Okay, so he's up there. Okay. So one thing I would say is I almost got into everything I'm into because of gaming. Because got really interested in building my own games, and I guess that's why I got into coding. Maybe see if he's into that. Really find his motivation. I think that's the best way to do it. See what he is motivated about, and try to tie that into other things that might be more helpful.
yeah.
Um, yeah, see, like if he likes gaming, if he likes building new things, then maybe he might be into coding. That's the only example I can think of because that's what happened to me.
Yeah. I mean I have a friend who asked me if I could teach him how to code. So I know what he's interested in because I'm friends with him. It's because we met pretty much just playing video games together. So the whole like I guess course material around that is all video games. So it's like every example is like pretty much a video game example. Um, I could, take like the stupid math approach they do in college and academia, just dry, or I could be like, hey, let's build a cool text-based game, and it's a lot more motivating that way. So yeah, I agree. Rather than you could take the position and like judge, but or you could just support his current interests because everybody has an interest. You just need to find it.
Yeah,
Um,
you just need to find it and see what other interests related to that are more, I guess, more a successful interest and a more a productive interest rather than something like just gaming. And yeah, I don't know. I know it's not the best answer, but it's tough. I've definitely been through this too with a few friends or something, and it's unless they internally want to make that difference, and sometimes even if they do, it's tough to get them to change.
mhm.
So I don't know. We will have to get back to you on that, I guess.
Well, I
We'll
mean,
see
it's
from our
good to take
experience.
to take the support position rather than like the let me parent you, because we all hate when our parents tell us to do shit, right? I'd rather just have the support. Like, I don't know, maybe he's like drawing shit. So one day you go out and you buy him like a drawing pad or something, and you're like, "Hey, I heard this paper's better than like computer paper. You might want to try it there." It's just like, taking the actions to support them in their endeavors. Like maybe one day at dinner he's like going on a rant about some crazy political ideology. So you're like, okay, rather than like, tell him not to have those opinions, I'm going to go out and support those opinions and like strengthen them, because that could lead, that'll cascade down into something better. I know, like, as humans we like to quickly judge people, and like if they're different we're like, fuck you, don't be different, be normal like us. That's like a pretty human thing to do. So we're very quick to just shut down people's interests right away. So if someone was to come up to another person and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna try doing yoga," you'd probably be like, "Dude, you're crazy. Yoga's for chicks or something." So what you can do is, just be supportive and like acknowledge that everyone's different and has their interests, and just you know hold their hand a little bit and like push them in the right direction. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the best you could do. Because yeah, again, bossing them around too much, that's just gonna lead to them resenting you. It's gonna get annoying.
Hmm.
For sure. All right.
We
Hope
have,
that helped.
yeah, I hope that answered your question, maybe, or provided some help. Let
Oh,
us know.
Brian's helping out too. Thanks, Brian.
Should we read Brian's comment?
Oh, so Brian said, I dropped out of high school in 11th grade and ended up working 6 to 7 days a week and playing video games all the time. The monotony really helped push, really helped him push to move forward.
Yeah. Um. Oh yeah, the same thing happened with Mark Manson, our like favorite author. He is writing about how he wanted to become like a writer and stuff like that. And so rather than doing that, he just played video games like all day, and then like slowly his money drained, and he was like, shit. So he literally just threw it out in the trash. Didn't he? I don't even think he sold it. And then yeah,
Jesus.
that was that. So um, yeah, I would, if he's 30 and he's still playing video games in your parents' basement, that's like concerning. Um, that might be something else.
Yeah.
But he's in high
You know,
school, so it's okay.
yeah, college is definitely going to change
Yeah,
him quite a bit, I'm sure. And
you just gotta
it'll
let
be
that
good.
let that cook. You know, sit in the oven a
All
little
right.
longer.
So, all right, back to experience. One, so the main piece of experience Zach and I recommend to everyone, no matter who you are, is entrepreneurship, starting your own business. Why is that, Zach?
Okay, so you all know my you probably all know my stance on like how to be a person. Like, don't like I'm against specialization now, which is crazy. Um, but it allows you to do a bunch of things that you never thought you would do before. You know, I came into computer science. I assumed I would just be coding all day. But you start coding, and then you realize you're having a conversation with your friend who's also coding, and you're like, okay, how do I communicate my idea? So you start learning about communication, and then you got to communicate it to the public. So now you got to learn about public communication, or public speaking. And then like your app looks ugly, so you got to learn about design. So you're like, oh shoot, design. And then you realize that no one's using your app, so then you got to learn about like psychology, and you're like, oh Jesus, why aren't they using my app? And then you got to learn how to promote stuff. So you learn about marketing and social media. Um, and then you get some money, and it's like, oh, now I got to learn about finances. So you get to play with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Don't just do it for the resume.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely cancerous experience if you do it for your resume because it won't be fun at all. You're not going to enjoy it. You're just going to be dragging through something, and it's a lot of work for something you don't enjoy. So, it doesn't have to be a standard business or a standard tech business or something where you have to create an app and go sell that app or something. I mean, that's what we talk about because that's a lot of what we did. But um, say you're an art major. One thing that's really helpful is to get your art critiqued on, right? Um, Maybe take that step and have it get critiqued by the general public. You know, set up a store, set up a little website, put your work on there, and see what people see if people buy it. See, I don't. There's a lot of different art. I'm not mostly familiar with that, so I guess I'm kind of generalizing. Maybe your goal isn't necessarily to sell to people, but I'd say no matter what your goal is, whatever you're trying to learn, you can find a way to make that into a business. Like, for example, what Zach and I guess, are doing right now, right? We think we have some interesting ideas. We want to share it, so we're putting it outside on this podcast. This isn't technically a business per se, but in the future it could be if it grows big enough. It could be, and from this we also learned skills like some social media marketing to help grow this. You know, we haven't completely learned it yet. We're still working on learning it. We're learning how to talk to an audience.
How to learn.
Um, yeah, we're learning how to maintain and manage an audience, how to grow all of that. You know, that includes getting leads and then capturing those leads and going further. So no matter what you're doing, you can do some type of business, whether it's content creation or you're actually selling something. And you're going to learn a lot of skills based around that. And those are going to be skills that are going to help you no matter what job you go into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good for the self too, because you like that is the leap. If like, let's assume you're doing nothing and you're like, all right, I really want to just I need to stop doing what I'm doing. That is the leap that will, you know, shine its light onto things you've never thought of before. So whether it's like, I don't know, some like belief you used to have and it just uproots that belief, that's a good thing. You know, it's happened to me through this whole journey, just uprooting
Mm.
beliefs and stuff. Uh, makes you humble,
And
kind of.
it's scary.
it
It's very scary, and it's something people don't necessarily want to do because it's so scary, and they think it's gonna make them feel lost, and they'll feel like everything they did so far has been a waste. But it's better realizing that now than realizing that when you're 30 or 40 or 50. People are still doing shit they don't want to be doing then. So it's okay. You will be lost for a little bit, but you will get through it. You'll find something you're into. Zach and I have both been through that little phase. A lot of our fall semester this year was going through something like that.
Yeah, I mean that was like the revelation we went through. It's just like shit. But I guess we took
That's a chapter title
yeah,
for the book, A Revelation.
revelations.
Yeah.
I guess that could be the last chapter. Um, I should release a sample, write the first chapter, and put it on Medium for people to read.
Yeah.
I like don't want to set up my own site. I'm too lazy.
Hey, there you go. Another way of creating experience. Zach's writing a book.
Yeah, I mean I'm practicing writing right now. Writing is hard. Um, my first article was okay. The second one was kind of shit. I was like, ugh, this one's a bit tough. I don't know about the third. I gotta figure out an idea for that. I do them every 2 weeks for now.
Mm, sure. Check him out. Zach Zambuto. Medium.
I mean, that's like another thing. I was like, I kind of you might have like a fantasy, be like, what if I was like writing or something? Just like literally do it and see what happens.
Yes. Zach wanted to live out his fantasy, so he's writing fan fictions.
Oh yeah, all
But
those.
that's
That's the private Medium account.
um so another thing. Even if you don't think starting a business is necessarily going to help you get an internship because it's not related to whatever you're doing. Um, like our buddy's doing business who worked on an app internship with us. It's not completely related to what they want to be doing, but it still helps. You know why? Because having that on your resume shows that you're motivated. It's those intrinsic characters that are otherwise harder to get out. You can't just bloat saying I'm very a lot of people do that. I'm a motivated student. What does that mean? What have you done? Why are you motivated? I'm willing to learn. I'm ready to learn. What does that mean? But if you
I've
actually
seen
have something
those.
like this, your own experience that you created, you don't even have to write that bullshit. It speaks for itself.
That's true.
It shows you went out and created something, no matter what it is. That's awesome.
Show, don't tell. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about stoicism yesterday, and a big theme is action speaks louder than words.
Nice. Did you write that yourself, Akash? That's
Yeah,
true. No,
man,
I
I
agree.
came
All
up with
jokes
it
aside.
myself.
But yeah,
Um,
stories sell better than like saying, "Hey, listen to my podcast." Even though we do that sometimes.
we do that a lot.
I mean, we do keep saying the story of like how the fuck this started. It was like us fucking failing our startup and then being like, "Is there a god?" Like it was just like dry. Like we had our
Yeah.
internships and distract yourselves or whatever, and then like in the fall we're like, "Damn, this sucks." Like I went to a career fair and I was like, "Fuck, fuck," and then yeah, and then I took the second leap.
All right. All right. One thing I just came up with is I know we tend to go way towards like engineering side because that's who we are. Um, but do you want to maybe try pulling up a list of majors and giving out ideas as to what they could do? See if we could come up with something. I think that'll help out any audience listening,
Oh, right now?
like a potential business they can start. Yeah, right now.
You want me to
Just
write
pull
it?
up a
You want to
yeah,
make a
just pull up
doc?
a list of majors. Hmm?
Oh, pull up a list of majors. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
don't make a doc. Just say it out loud. We'll just talk about it on here.
Corey, take
Maybe just
notes.
pull up. Yes, Corey on.
He will be. He's on in spirit right now, but he's gonna take notes
Okay,
for us.
cool, cool.
List of college majors. Holy shit. Oh, you could just smell the bureaucracy. Oh, smells like failure. Okay. So what featured majors?
Hmm?
Whoa. Okay, well why
This
don't we
is
start with like the popular ones?
sure, yeah. And then we'll go
Okay, you know what?
maybe a couple of the deep
We're
ones.
gonna skip engineering. Why don't we
Yeah,
start?
because we've spoken about engineering quite a bit.
We're gonna play a game. I pick a random major.
All
Okay,
right,
not
here.
that one. Not that one.
If it's engineering, by the way, um, general concept, just build something you think might solve a problem.
Liberal arts and sciences. So art, history, music, foreign languages, literature, and philosophy. Okay, so
All right.
let's. We already spoke about art. It's like
Mm-hmm.
do that
Put
stuff.
your work out there.
History. History. I have an idea.
Interesting.
Start
All
a
right,
YouTube
go for it.
channel about your favorite history and teach history in a fun way.
Hey, that's good. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If you're if you're truly passionate about history, put that out there and identify qualities you build with that, Zach. From doing that, what skills do you build? What skills do you have to hone? I guess
Mm-hmm. Wait.
that was a question.
Oh
Or that
shit.
was a,
Wait, sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I
no,
was reading.
no.
I was reading Amanda's comment.
All right, from that idea, why would that help a history major doing that?
Well, one, it'll tell you, do you actually care about history? And if you don't like history, in the sense of like you're on your own, not just grinding for the A, well, you're gonna know. Um, Also, it'll help you learn history and remember it. Like I could tell you all about North Korean culture now that I had to do a whole show on it, or just bits and pieces. So it'll help you learn it. Um, It'll give you okay. I really hate saying it'll go on your resume, but you can put it on your resume if you're applying to some history job. Let's say you want to go teach history. You could be like, hey, I've been teaching on YouTube this long. And they'll be like, all right, he's already been teaching. Um, you could monetize that. So there are history channels, like history YouTube channels that are monetized, like Crash Course by PBS. They're monetized. They're very good. I watch them for fun sometimes. I know it's very sad, but I watch them for fun. And it'll teach you other skills too. So maybe you're like, okay, well, I don't like using a slideshow. I would much rather do animations. So you start learning about animations, and you're like, wow, I really love animations. So then instead of specifically applying to a history job, you apply to an animations place and you do animations there. You see where I'm going? Follow the
Hell yeah.
follow the Let's answer Amanda's question real quick. Information scientist
MIS.
slash MIS slash information technology.
Interesting. Um, Honestly, for MIS, I would go the startup route again. Uh, I think it's valuable because you have a bit of the tech side and a bit of the business side. So you could use that with the team with another tech and business person to almost help communicate between them. But also you can practice your technical skills by building up some infrastructure for the whatever for a tech startup you're doing. Or what else? What so MIS? Can you be more specific about what they do in MIS? Because I always just thought it was pretty much IT building, which is infrastructure for tech and tech help. Is there anything more? What do you learn on the business side? All right, let me look it up in the UConn site actually. It says these include highly sought after proficiencies that help identify tech improvements, business practices, including accounting, finance, marketing, operations, everything. Great, yeah, you would be pretty much be the management person on the team. This would actually be really valuable to have. You can pretty much work on the economic projections, figure you could work on the problem solving, find the problem, finding the solution. You can work with customer discovery. This seems to be a pretty versatile major you can use to pretty much work in any part of the startup. And I think a startup will be really helpful because it will give you practice. It will give you practice, maybe not with accounting, but with finance, for marketing, for operations, and definitely for the everything in between part. Like, definitely go out and build a business. You have anything to add, Zach?
Yeah, just just do it for you. You know, um, yeah, careful.
Yeah,
Just do it for
maybe
you.
find some other hobby you're interested in, and maybe build one around that too. That would make it more fun.
Hmm.
And because a lot of these business principles are going to be prevalent in that too. Uh, and yeah, for the technical skills, maybe just build a simple website to share your hobby or whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to be a fully tech startup. It could be any type of startup or any small business.
Hmm.
I'd
Very
even
cool.
recommend something like looking into generic online businesses, like if you're really interested in this, or else it can get annoying, but like drop shipping or something like that, because you're going to use a lot of these skills in that too. So I'd say try to combine MIS with another hobby and see if you could create some business within that.
Yeah.
Next major.
Hope that answered a question about that. Shoot, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Um, well, music's kind of easy, like Spotify or like SoundCloud.
Yeah, try to book some gigs.
I
Uh,
feel like I kind of covered liberal arts and sciences though. It's like
yeah, because those
teach,
are
write.
very hands-on type of skills, so you could definitely do. Ooh, okay. What about this one? Um, what about theater design and technical theater?
Ooh,
That's an interesting one, huh? Yeah, no
Technical.
matter what you're doing, you
So
could definitely do
technical.
some type of content creation on
Yeah, you
YouTube.
can.
That
I mean, that's like,
anyone can do that.
yeah, that's Gary Vee's whole thing. Is like make content about stuff you're interested in.
But I wonder,
Dude, I'm
design and technical, dude.
sweated. Oh God. Yeah,
Coffee's that you finish it too fast.
it's like I need like special shirts. Okay. Okay.
They're all about a costume design, it looks like, and setting up the scene. Very cool. And like puppetry, I guess would go along with this too, because they make props and everything.
I mean, if you're at UConn for puppetry, you're doing well.
Yeah.
So I think I
Yeah,
don't
we
want to
didn't
assume
know this, but
anything, but they're
apparently UConn and also design and theatrical design apparently is it's like UConn's pretty up there. It's like top 3 for that. I had no clue.
Did you come with Chris and I when we went to the puppetry
Yeah.
performance? You were there?
Wait, which one?
We went to like a performance. It was like
No,
a
I wasn't there
puppetry
for the
night.
performance.
Oh,
No,
it was cool. It was cool.
yeah. So you're doing pretty well at you. Well, otherwise, I wonder that's a tough one. Again, like I said, content you could do for anything, but I'm trying to think of something more creative you could do for that because I'm not really familiar with the major at all.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these are out of our scope of expertise.
Yeah, but I
Um,
mean, theater, maybe actually one thing instead of just talking about theater on YouTube, you could do something like you could do short films. Create short films. That would be really cool. Find a bunch of other friends, maybe someone who's into like camera work, your friends who are into acting. Create a short film. I did that in high school. I knew nothing about it, so it was a really shitty film, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing it. So there you go. All right, let's do one more.
Homeland
Maybe let's
Security.
do. Hmm?
Homeland Security.
Homeland, is that a major?
Yeah, I guess so. Criminal justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, criminal justice. Major. I've met a lot of people who do criminal justice,
Criminal justice. Okay.
and then they
Huh.
tend to become lawyers after.
Gotcha.
Start your own law practice.
Watch Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
No, don't
watch
do that.
Better
It's
Call
probably not
Saul.
a good place to learn law from. But really good show. I still recommend it. Watch Breaking Bad first, though. Hmm. Maybe for that, join a debate team if you want to go into law. I guess. What else? What else can you do? Let's think about this.
Talk to lawyers.
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, network for sure. Just because someone doesn't give you a job doesn't mean they're still not interested in helping you out in other ways. Network and yeah, maybe spend your time talking to lawyers. I guess for law, it's a lot about knowing the law if you're into law. So that's just going to be a lot of studying for that. So it might be dry, but just study. And law is something where you're going to have to be in the spot a lot in front of a lot of people when practicing. If you're doing like court law, so practice presenting, doing public presentations. Maybe you join a startup and you're the presenter for them. But yeah, I don't know. We're obviously we don't know much about law, but those are a few things I can think of off the top of my head.
Or you do the legal stuff within the startup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like
A lot of
research the
startups need
laws.
that.
Obviously, you can't do anything like the lawyers can legally do, but you could be like, guys, there's a law that says we can't sell this. We cannot sell cocaine over the internet. And then
No way. Come on.
save everyone.
That has to be legal.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of majors. We could really get into this, but don't be afraid.
If you're like a Chinese major, teach people how to speak Chinese.
Yeah, I think content creation is like that covers everything. Like just selling knowledge.
For sure. Yeah. Practice and content creation. And content creation can help with practice. It's and it doesn't, you don't even honestly have to worry about growth. Just worrying about creating content will build you experience. And if you worry about growth, that'll build you a different set of experience.
Hmm.
So hope that helped for all the non-engineering majors listening.
But remember, the only product that matters at the end of the day is you.
Whoa.
And that was the realization I had one day. I was like, you know what? Fuck am I chasing products? I could just be my own product. And now we're working on a personal brand, kind
Yeah.
of.
I mean, it depends on your personal goals, but if you have a lot of interests, again, you don't have to be, it doesn't have to just be for your major. Just you can do content or something else. And I don't know, skateboarding, if you're into skateboarding, if you're, my friend's into doing poi. It's like these
Boy.
little balls you spin around. Sounds kind of weird, but you could
Yeah.
make a channel for that. I don't know. No matter what it is, it's, if you just put a little bit of work into it, you're gonna find a way to add more experience. But with that, we're getting close to 10. Zach, any final remarks?
Yeah. So I'm gonna continue to push this because this is like my guiding value. It's like just do stuff that you think is interesting. Even if you won't get paid, even if mom and dad say you're crazy, just do it. Like I got you. I don't think you're crazy. I'm crazy. You're not crazy. Yeah. I will continue to push that. So if you're ever like, sad because of that, just text me. I understand. I got you. Work on you.
And another thing, if you think you're lazy to do any of this, more likely than not, you just haven't found something that interests you enough.
Or
Even
excites
once
you.
you start doing it, there will be
Oh God.
parts where you're lazy, but you will find a way to get over it if you're truly, again, yeah, excited and interested.
Hmm.
So I thought I was lazy for the longest time. It's not true. I just didn't like whatever I was doing. I hate majority of the class at UConn. They're terrible.
I liked film study because you got to watch movies. I
There
get
you go. Go
credit. I
take a
get
film
credit.
studies class.
Get credit for watching movies. Yeah. So why don't we
All
run
right.
down what's happening in the next episodes? All right. So next week, Akash, I haven't talked to you about this, but I have like scheduled finals, so we might have to change when we stream, just on a few days.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
So that's a heads up. We might change that. Um, Tomorrow, my friend John is going to be our guest. He's doing research at URI. He's not specifically going to be talking about his research, but he's going to be talking about real science and fear mongering science. I think that's especially important
Ooh,
today, especially during the
very cool.
coronavirus. Sunday, it's Snowden Sunday. I'm going to be talking about Edward Snowden.
Nice, nice.
Ooh, Monday is not. We decided we hate like doing shows directed at self
Dedicated to
improvement.
self. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's
So yeah, let's talk about
clogged.
yeah. So Zach came up with this idea called simulations. We're gonna test out Monday.
Or like
Where we're gonna
situations.
situational simulation. That's
Yeah.
what it was. SMS. But we're each gonna give each other like a situation and ask how we'd react. Like one could be if you were trapped in an island, like we did with Jack. How would you react? What would you do? Something,
the
some crazy
trolley,
question like that.
the trolley
Yeah,
problem, pretty much is a
yeah.
situational.
So
We're
that's
not
gonna
gonna
be an
do that though.
interesting one.
I fucking hate that problem.
No, nothing we've already talked about or that's overdone.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's what we're up to. Business stuff updates. We got our buddy Corey working with us now. He's going to be pretty much taking notes on videos, helping with the clip extraction so we can get the Instagram booming again, which is, by the way, at the Zach and Akash show. If you do not follow us yet, go check us out there. And otherwise, thank you for watching/listening. If you're listening, find us at YouTube. Join us live at one point at the Zach and Akash show. Just look it up, you'll find us. And if you are watching right now, look up there. You can listen to us later if you ever miss your show at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor. And I don't know, are we on anything else?
There's just a bunch of weird ones. I don't remember them.
Yeah, a bunch of
It's
weird
out
ones.
there.
You know,
Just use Spotify and Google Podcasts and iTunes. Don't use the
yeah.
others.
Maybe if you have a different favorite podcast app, we might be on there. Definitely check for us. If not, let us know. DM us on at the Zach and Aakash Show on Instagram, and we'll try to add that to the list. Uh,
Hope you all find what you're looking for in life. You got this.
try everything. Enjoy it.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. It's been real. See you
Thank you
all.
for watching / listening.
See you all tomorrow. Very interesting tomorrow.